So after all these years of funk and rock and all that stuff and loud music, why did you guys decide to put Toque Libre together?
Well, I think we probably would hate to admit it, but I think we were getting a little bit older. Wanted to do something a little bit more refined. But also, you know, call on our roots a little bit as well. You know, we'd always incorporated a little bit of the Latin stuff into Rubberneck, and people seemed to enjoy that. You know, when we'd come out with the more Latin songs, we could tell the crowd, you know, picked up a little bit more. And, so a little combination of both of those. You know, we were just getting a little bit older, and the loud, you know, funk party, you know, keggers and frat party thing, you know, was getting a little bit old. So. Yeah, I think that's what kind of started the whole thing.
Oh, so you must be a rock star?
Well, that's always fun, but yeah, you know, it's after a while it was nice to kind of settle down a little bit and focus more. I think also focusing more on songwriting, you know, actually hearing the melodies and the, you know, that kind of thing.
So what exactly were you trying to accomplish with this band? What were you going for when you first put it together?
Well, I think, you know, like I was saying, I think we really wanted to kind of focus on the songwriting, make them kind of a more modern Latin sound, a modern like flamenco, rumba, because when people hear those terms, they kind of think of, you know, the old Spain, you know, flamenco dancers and all of that thing. We wanted to kind of modernize it a little bit and almost give it a pop edge to it, you know, with the melodic hooks and that kind of thing, and put our own quasi-Rubberneck spin on it.
What is the Rubberneck spin?
I think the Rubberneck spin is, it's a combination of my brother and I, because, you know, I play the bass, obviously, and he writes the songs and writes the melodies and that kind of thing. So the hooks and those things are his, but the rhythm is mine, you know. He brings these kind of almost strummy songs, you know, sit down with this acoustic guitar and just kind of strum and sing the melody, and then I listen to it for a little bit and I say, yeah, I think this kind of rhythm would work on this, and let's do it this way. And so I think that's kind of that combination is kind of that sound. And then with Toque Libre, the addition of Mehdi Farjami, our other guitar player, he's the more studied flamenco player, and he adds that, you know, that little bit of authenticity to the sound of the flamenco sound.
Why is that important to you?
I think it gives a little bit more credibility. It's not, you know, these guys are just trying to pretend to play Latin music, you know, even though we are Latin.
You do have cred there.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, I think it adds a little bit more authenticity to it.
Okay. So, how did you, we know how you got together with Ricardo.
Yeah.
But how did you get together with the third member?
Well, Mehdi actually worked with Ricardo at Tower Records years and years ago in Beaverton, the Beaverton Tower Records.
I remember that.
Yeah, and so they knew each other from that, but back then they were into more rock and heavy metal, had the long hair and everything.
Yeah.
So they've known each other for a long time, and then after Rubberneck broke up, Mehdi had contacted my brother saying, you know, would you like to get together and do some Latin stuff. You know, he had been studying flamenco and had really gotten into it and moved away completely from the heavy metal stuff. And they started doing just duo gigs, like private shows and you know, dinner party type things. And it kind of evolved from there, where my brother asked me, you know, do you want to join us and let's start getting a little more serious and actually playing, you know, gigs and shows around town.
And so you're at Jimmy Mac's.
Yeah, so it's it keeps evolving. You know, we booked our first show at Jimmy Mac's opening for Martin Zarzar, and we decided, you know, Jimmy Mac's is kind of like the premier venue in Portland. You know, why don't we do something special? Because Toque Libre is almost always a quartet, and it's very kind of subdued and kind of mellow. We thought, you know, this is a bigger show. Why don't we make it special and bring in a full band? So we brought in trumpet and sax, piano, and percussion. You know, so we have Carl Smith playing percussion, who played with Rubberneck.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the guys that joined us for the full Toque Libre orchestra are former Rubberneck members.
And is that what you'll have on this weekend?
Yes.
So who else is in the band?
So we have on trumpet we have James Gregg. And he's been doing a lot in Portland with his big band and his own quintet and all of that. And then we have Josh Clyburn on saxophone, and he does quite a bit as well. He sings with Journey Tribute Band, but then does his other gigs with the saxophone. And as I mentioned, Carl Smith on the congas. Ward will be with us as usual on cajon. And,
Griffiths.
And Dave Fleshner on piano, who's with Curtis Salgado is the main guy he plays with. Let me see, who else am I leaving out?
Nice band.
It's a nice full band.
Yeah. But that's not all. There is a. Is this an exclusive?
Yes, I think it might be.
I think it might. You guys have a big announcement because, look, everybody loved Rubberneck.
Yes.
It was one of the great funk bands in town, and people still, I'm sure, remember the fun they had.
Yes.
So what have you guys done?
So we kind of started to miss a little bit of that of the old funk and the soul stuff, and playing with the big Toque Libre band and getting the horns and everything back in there just got us thinking, and we decided to start a new project that's bringing back some of that old sound. And it's almost when we were recording some things, we kind of started calling it Rubberneck 2.0. But there's a little spin to it because instead of having drums, we have cajon with Ward Griffiths playing cajon on there. So it kind of gives a little bit different flavor, but still going back to the old, what made Rubberneck, what it was.
Ricardo playing guitar?
Yep, Ricardo playing guitar, singing the lead vocals. Dave Fleshner playing Hammond and clav. Ward Griffiths on the cajon, and then myself on bass. And then we had Josh Clyburn and James Gregg also come in the studio and record the horn parts for that.
Ricardo never stopped being a rock star, did he?
No. Yeah, he settled down a little bit. He got married, has a kid, but still, it's always in you.
Yeah. So, we have any plans on playing out?
Well, yeah. So that originally we were just going to work on this and take our time and record when we had a chance, and we decided, why don't we just, instead of doing that, let's just do like a little 4-song demo, get it out there, get a buzz going, and then once we've got a little bit of a buzz going, we'll start trying to book some shows. So we're hoping, this summer to start playing out a little bit.
Well, just in time.
Yeah,
just in time to sweat. So that one tune that you sent me, what was that?
That song was called "Thinking About You."
What's Ricardo write that?
Yes. Nowadays, a lot of the songs that he writes are for his wife, and for his little girl, Amina. So I think that one was about them and thinking about you, and anytime he's away, I'm thinking about you.
Well, that will appear right below this screen, as will all the information on the Jimmy Max gig.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Ricardo. Ricardo, I called you Ricardo. Oh no.
Well, the last thing I was going to say was that we decided to do the 4-song EP, and then we thought, well, we've got the Jimmy Max show coming up, so they're actually being printed right now, and we should have copies of that by Wednesday, and hopefully we'll be able to bring it out to the show, and we'll be giving it away. And it's free download online, so we kind of want people to have it, and know what we sound like before we actually start playing.
Well, Toque Libre is doing great, and welcome back to the funk world.
Yeah, and the new project is Brothers O.
Brothers O.